Hello, everyone. Welcome to this very special edition of the Don Lemon Show. This is an emergency live breaking news. Wendy Williams hospitalized, and I have the reporter here who knows everything about what's going on, Jessica Finn from the U.S. Sun. You can get her story on the ussun.com. Jessica, thank you so much for joining. So let me just tell my story, and then I'll let you tell your story. So I got a call from someone saying that Wendy dropped a note out of the window of the facility where she's staying. And because of that note, the photographer or the paparazzi or whatever, because they handed it over, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, to authorities, all of a sudden they showed up at her facility and then took her to the hospital. What is your version of this story? What happened?
Yeah, so basically it's our understanding that there was an investigation that was opened up last week, and it was an elder care investigation. It was an elder abuse investigation. This happened, sounds like probably Friday. And as a result of that elder care investigation, that's kind of how police got involved. It wasn't really a separate, I know it's been reported that these are two separate investigations that the NYPD was investigating separately, but there is no NYPD investigation. So currently there's an elder care investigation. And basically one of the main tenets that spurred that elder care investigation, from my understanding and from what I've been told from my sources, is that Wendy took a trip to Miami. As we all know, she went to go visit her father in Miami in February, and that there were some issues on the trip, including her not having access to any sort of money. She was given a credit card, and the credit card basically didn't work when she got there. And so apparently you can't send somebody to a different state without any money or without any funds. That is allegedly elder abuse. And so this investigation got opened up late last week. And as part of that, there was a welfare check made by the NYPD today. So the NYPD shows up to Wendy's the senior living facility that she's been living in. This is a place that she is a number of times called a luxury prison. They took her from the facility and they brought her to a nearby hospital for basically a mental evaluation. And it's at the hospital where things seem to things seem to have gotten even dicier at the hospital. We are told that Wendy's mental evaluation went really well. She passed with flying colors, but there are some players involved at the hospital right now that are trying to figure out what to do with Wendy, because as of at least 3 hours ago, Wendy was still at the hospital, and they were trying to determine whether or not they would be able to let her stay overnight, or if she was going to return to this senior living facility where she's basically has called herself a prisoner in her own living quarters.
Yeah. So a couple of things, Jessica. I spoke to a source and their quote was, Wendy's evaluation is a 10 out of 10, meaning in her favor. And this source is very proud of what Wendy is doing. The source believes that Wendy is taking matters into her own hands, and that she is completely capable and of not being in a facility like the one that she is being housed in. And they're proud of her. Now, you're hearing too that the evaluation went well, but was that evaluation, now this is maybe according to sources or something that I read, were they trying to manipulate that evaluation in some way or interfere?
So I'm not going to get too into it because I do need to write a story tomorrow morning. However, it is my understanding that there was some interference during the evaluation. There was, I am told through sources, again, that there was an attempt to, I guess, knock Wendy off her game while she was going through the evaluation. To try and get her to look less cognitively aware, I guess, from what my sources have told me so far. And it sounds like a really contentious scene at the hospital where Wendy is. For all we know, I'm pretty sure she's still there right now. It seems like there are different powers that are pulling her in two different directions, like I said before, with some people wanting her to immediately go back to this lockup facility, this facility where she claims she has been locked up, and other people wanting to try and keep her overnight in the hospital and try and figure out an alternative care plan for her moving forward.
Oh, Jessica, She is locked up. I mean, let's just be honest about she's in this facility. She can't leave unless she has permission. And she was given permission to leave. And according to the reporting, she was given permission to leave with no money on a credit card. I mean, that is, and she has money. That is, don't you think that's locking her up? Or at least perhaps some would call it, might qualify it as holding her hostage in some way?
Right now, we don't know the reasoning behind giving her a credit card that didn't have adequate funds for the trip. Another source has relayed to me that when Wendy goes to visit her family in Florida, sometimes her money is a little loosely flowing, I guess was the way one source was putting it to me earlier today. But at the end of the day, if you're going to send somebody to a different state away from where their food and shelter is, and you're not going to give them money to like live and do, the things that they're supposed to be doing in that state, which was her visit to visit her father for his 94th birthday, for Thomas Williams Sr.'s 94th birthday. I mean, it's not really, I mean, there's definitely something amiss when this woman who is worth millions of dollars goes and uses her credit card that she's been given from the Guardian, which is in our reporting on the U.S. Sun. She goes to use her credit card and it's being declined in Florida. I mean, here she is away from, again, her shelter, her food source, and she has no money. And people had to, I was told, and this is in my reporting, that people actually had to like send her money while she was in Miami so that she could, be in Miami. And yeah, I mean, it certainly isn't, a situation that you would think somebody who has, has millions of dollars to her name, some situation that somebody like her would find herself in, for sure. And then the other part of the reporting that we released earlier today is, my source really kind of wanted to drive home that while Wendy had no money in Miami, the source claimed and alleged that the Guardian has been going through Wendy's money, hiring her own legal counsel for various legal battles that she is facing on behalf of Wendy. I mean, we know that the Guardian is currently has her own attorney in the case against Lifetime regarding the Where Is Wendy Williams documentary, and being legally represented by a prominent attorney is costly.
Yeah.
So from what my understanding is that there is real concern about how much money Wendy's fortune is being spent on various legal bills.
Yeah. So I'm going to go through some of your reporting, and then I want you guys to stand by because I spoke with Wendy recently, and I'll tell you my story, but I want to go through your reporting. Okay. And by the way, this is an emergency, an impromptu, or an emergency live or stream. So make sure you hit the thumbs up so people know that we're here and they become aware of this conversation, because I'm not usually live at this time during the week. Okay. So let's go through this. All right. Some of your reporting from Karen Finn at the US Sun. .com. Jessica, sorry, I don't know what I'm calling Karen. From the US Sun. Okay, so let's go through some of your reporting. Sorry about that. Okay, so Jessica, let's see. Wendy Williams hospitalized as part of an elder abuse investigation after Guardian sent her to Miami with no money. We talked about that. Plus, you say, Jessica, an insider accuses Wendy's Guardian of squandering the star's money, which you talked about, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I spoke with Wendy, and I think that she said this before. I just spoke to her. She called me for my birthday. And she said, that I think this facility is like $18,000 a month and for a 1-bedroom. And I said, well, Wendy, do you have a king size bed? She goes, no, I don't know what to call this. Mm-hmm. So she's basically saying it's like a hospital room that they're spending all of this money on. Now, according to her, there are multiple attorneys that are handling different aspects of this case. And as you have said, or these cases, as you have said, these attorneys cost a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, she has the Guardian, and then the Guardian, then she has her own court-appointed Guardian attorneys, right? So we know that that's like kind of like it's like one package, but then you have the Guardian has her own attorney that's fighting in the Lifetime case on behalf of the Guardian, and then Wendy also has her divorce with Kevin Hunter. That's a separate case, and we know that the Guardian was initially representing Wendy in some sort of capacity in her divorce case, because Kevin is going for money that he claims he is due, and there's a new attorney that's recently been hired in the last couple of months in that case as well. So this is like there's a staff of attorneys that are dealing with Wendy's various litigations,
and she's paying for all of this.
That's what we're told. That is what we're told. She is
So then
putting,
she would be bleeding money at this point. That seems outrageous.
and this the guardianship complex is a very difficult institution, I guess, for lack of a better word. It sounds from other reporting that we've done that guardianships typically can really run through a person's assets with legal fees really quickly. This guardian that is Wendy's guardian in particular was named in a lawsuit. It was a racketeering lawsuit on behalf of an individual who had a brain injury claim, and the guy had around $2 million that was part of the claim that he won, and his money disappeared relatively quickly. Sabrina wasn't the defendant in that case, but she was named in that case as one of the people who were involved in making sure that he remained in a guardianship, and that it was a $30 million lawsuit. And this guy basically said, all of my money has been gone in a matter of, years because of various litigation that my guardian has pursued that I wouldn't want anything to do with otherwise.
Wow. Okay, let's go through more of your reporting here. And then I'm going to ask you about a couple of different aspects. The insider claimed Wendy's civil rights and liberties are being denied and further accused the guardianship of enabling elder abuse. The source claimed that Wendy's guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, this is her in the photograph right here that you see with the tan suit on and the folder in her hands, walking in front of a Jeep or standing in front of a Jeep. Source claimed that Wendy's guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, sent the iconic daytime TV host to visit her father in Florida with an empty credit card. The Guardian gave her a credit card with no funds when she went to Miami during her trip to see her father in Miami last month for her birthday. The credit card given to her by Sabrina was declined, and someone else had to pay for her purchases, and that's elder abuse, the insider alleged. Okay, so let me just go. I want to go quickly to this other reporting that we have, okay? And this is not your reporting, so I'm not sure how much you'll be able to add to that, okay? So I'm going to put this up. Remember, I'm here without producers, so let me see if I can get this up. Okay, so this one is from, let me put it on the screen. This one is from the New York Post, okay? Present, how do I do that? Oh, here we go, got it. Okay. So this one is from the New York Post, and it is page 6. And so according to page 6 that I will share, Wendy Williams was taken from her facility, and there you see her walking out of the facility there today. Now, I have seen Wendy in these situations for a minute, right? Let me just refresh this. I've seen her in these situations for a minute, and I have seen her in a wheelchair, and according to Sabrina and all of that, she's in a wheelchair, and therefore she's somehow incapacitated.
Wendy, what's going on?
I know you said that you needed help. Is it coming from you? I looking forward to the view. So will you still be making your appearances for this week? Oh my God, I got to get up in that. Oh my God, wait, you take that and put that way over there. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, I got it. Okay, thanks.
Go, you going in?
I was right here. Yeah, they have to take
So that is, again, is from page 6 and the New York Post. Let me just get rid of that. That's from page 6 in the New York Post. Now, I've seen Wendy, I haven't seen her in person. I've only spoken to her. And every time I see her, she's in a wheelchair. She doesn't appear to be incapacitated and unable to walk in that particular piece of video right there. And so her guardian is claiming, well, she knows she has all of these hindrances where she can barely get around by herself, and that she doesn't make sense, that she has this, frontal issue with her brain. So what do you make of that? And what sparked that particular thing? Was that the thing that I said with the photographer, that they came and got her today? Because the photographer is saying after she sent the note out, that's when the ambulance came.
Yeah, I don't. So from my sourcing says that basically the elder abuse investigation that began on Friday, that this police check had something to do with that, and that they're not separate. I saw the note. I don't know if like she sent a note outside and somebody called 911. We spoke with the NYPD earlier today, and they would only confirm that there was a call for a 60-year-old woman at the address who needed basically a check-in to make sure that she was doing okay. So I don't know with the note and what, like, if somebody called 911 after the note, I'm not really sure exactly how that particular part of the story panned out. But my source is saying that the police check had everything to do with the elder abuse investigation that was open last week.
Interesting.
But Wendy looks great. She's walking. She's not using the scooter that she was using when she was down in Florida for her son, Kevin Hunter Jr.'s graduation in December. She looks like she's getting around really well, actually.
Mm-hmm. And this is her in the window. Apparently, a photographer was there and she was trying to communicate with him. And he said, I don't know what you're saying. And then she dropped a handwritten note out of the window. Again, she begged the paparazzi for help. If you see it right here, the former talk show host begged paparazzi for help. Help Wendy. The message read, help Wendy. And then the photographer, according to the reporting, said it was a windy day, no pun intended, and it blew down the street. And so he had to go and chase it. And by the time that he got back or whatever, there were other photographers there. Wendy was sitting in the lobby and then had to be brought out to the ambulance. Again, that is the reporting. And so for you, she's still in the hospital. Mm-hmm. And no idea when or if she's going to be let go, if she's going to go back in the custody of this caregiver or the guardian, Sabrina, what's her name?
Sabrina Morrissey. Yeah.
Sabrina Morrissey. Is she going to go back in Sabrina Morrissey's custody?
Yeah, we just don't know. That's really kind of going to be the next big development tonight. Between tonight and tomorrow morning is going to be, were the powers that be able to, make a case to keep her overnight at the hospital while they try and figure out an alternative care plan, which is something that the people that are trying to assist in freeing her from the guardianship are very, very much determined to do, to keep her overnight and to try and find an alternative care plan for her moving forward. But, the guardian, from what I've been told by my sources, is very set on getting her back to the senior living facility where she has been claiming that she is a prisoner on the 5th floor in this basically this memory ward for patients with Alzheimer's and dementia. We actually at the U.S. Sun did a story just a few weeks ago about the facility that Wendy is in. Not only is she in this specific memory unit, and it's definitely, it's clearly a memory unit. The way they decorate the doors, they make sure that the doors have like armoires with personal effects outside so that people can remember where their room is. There's some really specific things that they are catering to for people who have memory problems. And again, this is an Alzheimer's and dementia unit specifically. But the other thing is, because it's like this kind of tailored care plan for these people, right? It's a locked unit. When you're looking at the description of how they talk about this particular floor that these people are housed on, it's called a secure floor plan. So everything is locked. Wendy, I know you had said that Wendy complained about her living arrangements, that it felt like a hospital room. They only offer studio accommodations on this floor. Like the other units outside of this floor, they're like, you can have a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom. These are like really luxury accommodations, but because of where Wendy is specifically in this memory care unit, she's only afforded a studio. And this is just because, I guess, of the way the layout is and the different services that they're providing these people who have memory issues. So it's a definitely really interesting situation she's in. And, when Don, you've spoken to her recently. I mean, the woman doesn't, She knows where she is. She knows who she is. I mean, we aren't doctors and we can't really, of course, give a diagnosis, but like, this she knows what's up. I mean, she's throwing
knows
those paparazzi and like, she has a plan to escape seemingly,
She knows
Yeah.
what's up. She knows how to call me. And I'll tell you. So let me just tell you the story. So it was, I ran into a friend and a mutual friend of Wendy. And I said, hey, I spoke to Wendy a while ago. I interviewed her. I said, but she hasn't been in touch. Can you just tell her to call me? And he's like, oh, yeah. She mentioned you. And she said that she couldn't find your number or something. And I said, because I've been wanting to send her something. And he said, okay. And so she called me on the Sunday. I said, tell her it's my birthday. And so she called me on the Sunday after my birthday, March 2nd.
Happy
And
birthday. Oh my
thank you
gosh,
very
it's
much.
my daughter's birthday. Sorry.
My birthday is March 1st, but she called me on March 2nd. Okay. So happy birthday to your daughter. So then, and I said, Wendy, I want to, will you say happy birthday to me and I'll record and whatever. And so I'll play a little bit of it because I don't want to give too much of it away, but I will tell you, she sounded fine to me. We spoke for like an hour, 30 minutes into the conversation. I was like, Wendy, do you mind saying it? I'll put it on social media, do whatever. And she goes, absolutely. And so this is her then. And I'll tell you what happened yesterday when she called me. Here we go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Don Lemon Drop. Happy birthday to you. Loves and kisses from Wendy Williams Hunter, the famous one.
Wendy, you sound better than Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, God. I love Marilyn Monroe, too. You know what about that house? That's now like a museum or something or another now.
Marilyn Monroe's house.
Yeah.
Well, I meant you're singing. Remember, she sang to the president, happy birthday.
I know. Half naked.
So she knows what's going on. And we had a whole conversation about Marilyn Monroe and JFK. We talked about her at the facility. We talked about her family. We talked about her visiting her father. What else did we talk about? We talked about the show. I said, Wendy, I watched the show on YouTube, and I played it. I held the phone up to the TV, and I said, there was one about Usher that you were doing. And I said, do you remember the show? She goes, yeah. She goes, I was there for 14 years. She goes, of course I remember the show. But she said, my real love is radio, and I would rather get back to radio because, and we went on. We talked for like an hour, and again, I don't think it is the same Wendy from the show, but I don't think it's a Wendy that needs to be locked up in a facility. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, like, I think that, you can't expect somebody to be the same forever, right? We all get
not
old.
even forever, but imagine the trauma of going through what she's going through and being locked up and being in a guardianship and, having, as she said, her son do what he did and just being in this position,
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody should expect like Wendy to be like Wendy was on TV, right? Like I tend to agree with that. But yeah, no, she certainly should not be having none of her personal liberties. Like all of her liberties have been taken away. There's definitely something to be said about this woman who has been able to navigate speaking out to the media on a regular basis and, really kind of driving. It sounds like she's been involved in trying to hire new counsel herself. And, it seems like she's been very involved in trying to free herself from this guardianship in some capacity. And if you're able to do that cognitively, should you really be locked up? I mean, nobody should be locked up. She's being treated. I'm not going to say she's being treated like a criminal. She says it, I mean, it's not like the woman's done anything to deserve to be put in a facility, in a memory care facility under lock and key.
Let me just say this, because when the first time I spoke to Wendy, when I did the interview, I said, I want what's best for Wendy. And perhaps Wendy is her being in a guardianship. Perhaps that's the reason that she is, she sounds so good and that she's doing so well. It's because perhaps that she is here. And that, but I thought that the parameters were too strict and too tight. And that I believe that she should have someone, maybe like a sober coach, and then someone who takes care of her money. And then she's able to live in a condo or whatever it is where she wants to live herself. Because let's just be honest about this, Jessica. There are people who are of sound mind and body, never in a guardianship, who will blow through their money. And no one takes their rights away. No one says, hey, look, you're blowing through your money, so I'm going to put you in a facility. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I don't believe that someone's rights should be taken away for whatever reason, and you know, for many reasons. So I'm on the side now that something is up, that something smells bad. You know what I'm saying? And this guardian, is she like someone who has been known for guardianships? Like, is that her thing?
Yeah, she is. She's a professional guardian. This is what, you know, she's a professional court appointed guardian. I mean, when you
Who has
look
she
up,
been involved with?
there's like a couple of like notable cases that she's been connected to, but nothing like this. When you look up her case history in the New York court system, you can just see it's just like all of these. And the problem with the guardianship is that guardianship cases are all under seal, so you don't know what's happening. But her name comes up over and over and over again in various guardianship cases in New York City, in New York State. So, I mean, this is, you know, what she does for a living. This is, you know, she's a court appointed guardian.
Yeah. Do you disagree with me about the parameters of the guardianship? And I know that you're reporting, but you have been covering Wendy for a long time, haven't you?
I've been covering Wendy for a very long time. I've been covering Wendy since before the baby, since Kevin had the love child, since before that is when I started covering Wendy. You know, I think that you make a great point. I think that, you know, is she doing so much better than the Wendy we saw 2 years ago? Remember the Wendy that we see in the Lifetime documentary? Is she doing so much better as a result of the guardianship? Possibly, probably, you know, but now she's at the point where she's capable again, right? Like, she's not showing her foot on interviews, and she's not passing out at Louis Vuitton with the champagne glass in her hand in the front window in the front store window. Wendy's definitely, you know, back and with it, you know, and I think that if there's, you know, from what I understand, her niece, Alex Finney, has been working behind the scenes to get a really good care plan in place to get her out of the guardianship. Like, and that's what she needs. She needs some guardrails, but she doesn't need this, what she's in right now. I completely agree with you on that. And nobody deserves to be treated the way she's being treated.
Yeah. So what is coming tomorrow? What are you working on, please, Jessica?
I mean, the $1 million question tonight is going to be, will she be released back to this facility, or will they come up with an alternative care plan? I mean, that's really at the forefront of my mind right now. And that's what I'm going to be working on is before I go to bed tonight. It's the last check-in tonight. I'll be trying to figure that out. And, you know, first thing when I wake up, I'll be trying to figure it out if I don't have an answer before I go to bed tonight. I mean, that's really because this could really change, you know, if the people who are in the hospital with Wendy right now, if the one side gets what they want and they are able to figure out an alternative care plan, this could totally change the shape of at least the guardianship she's in. It could change the way the guardianship is that she's in moving forward. It's not gonna, I don't think the guardianship is going to terminate tonight. I don't think anybody should expect that. And I don't think that it's going to terminate this week either, but it could totally change the way it looks for her, at least for the time being.
I wish you could hear this entire conversation that I had with Wendy. And then I wish everyone could hear it, but I don't want to put it out there yet until I just want to double check. I spoke with family members, but I want to check with Wendy because I think that the conversation that I have will help her because it's not her trying to be interviewed. It's just us talking where she sounds like a normal person that's on the phone with someone she knows. And I think if people hear her this way, they will feel the same way that we feel about it. And maybe they'll even be stronger. Maybe they'll even think free Wendy. I don't know if free Wendy to a certain extent. I want Wendy to be free in the sense that she has a sober person with her. She has someone that's going to take care of her, and that she has someone that's going to take care of her finances. I think that that's really, really important at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, Jessica. Jessica, I may have you on tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. on my live because when does your reporting drop?
I can probably hustle something up by then.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want you to talk about your reporting. So 10 a.m. Jessica will be back, and we will see what happens with Wendy. And perhaps by then I will have heard from Wendy, and maybe you'll hear from her. Maybe she'll be on live. Who knows? And maybe I'll have come to the conclusion that I need to play the conversation so that you guys can hear it. So Jessica, thank you for joining. I appreciate it, you coming on for this emergency live on the Don Lemon Show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, 100%. Okay, so that is Jessica Finn from the USSun.com with her stellar reporting that she's doing. She has sources all over the place, and she has been getting information from what's happening, what's going on inside of the hospital. Apparently, these cognitive tests. She's getting information on saying that Wendy's doing a really good job. The source that I spoke to is saying that she believes that Wendy, it's a 10 out of 10 on these cognitive tests that she's been given. And the source also says, amazing to see her walking. Where is the lymphedema? Where is all of these? Where are the wheelchairs that, that this Guardian has been saying that Wendy needs in order to live or survive or to get around? And so there you go. The emergency broadcast tonight was, or the emergency stream tonight was that Wendy Williams is hospitalized. We're going to find out exactly where she is tomorrow morning, and Jessica Finn hopefully will be back 10 a.m. Eastern time. We'll see you then. And every time when I sign off of all of my lives, I say the same thing, and it is very Kendrick Lamar. I'm going to say, turn the TV
Thanks
off.
everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.